LPT, being nice to retail workers is far more likely going to get you what you want. I get fat hookups on Subway sandwiches when I ask the most basic polite questions like how's it going today. Feel like service industry people get treated very poorly even at best. I've had a similar issue where I went with a friend to a fast food place, and when we walked in we saw what appeared to be the GM, older woman wearing business casual vs uniform, running the front of house and expediting for both drive-thru and dine-in. Their screen showing waiting orders also was angled to where we could see it and was flashing red and yellow for all but one order, so you could tell they were in the weeds. However, no one was yelling and everyone was communicating. We decided to not even approach the counter, and when GM asked us if we needed help we told her we weren't in a hurry and could wait till they were in a more manageable spot. Once things calmed down, the GM told us that they had someone no call no show and one of the cooks tried to come in but was sent home before starting their shift because they were sick. The GM calmed our meals and gave us coupons for free meals to thank us for waiting so patiently and be understanding. I stop by the place about once a month, and when she's been there she's taken care of my order much to my objection. It's amazing what happens when you treat someone like a human and realize they're capable of having a bad day. I work in fast food. I make burgers, and every time a customer comes in drive-thru I can listen on the headset to hear what they order, and if they are nice I usually give them extra nuggets or sometimes add an extra patty on the burger and give them extra everything. Be nice. Extra nugs. You're a champ. Thanks. I always, but 2 or more extra nugs. It's not much, but I do my best to make someone's day a bit better. Shit. 2 extra chicken nuggets would make my fucking day. You the MVP. Haha, thanks. I'm always fascinated when reading or listening to customer service horror stories where the person telling the story essentially goes, so I treated the whole interaction like a confrontation from the start, and then they weren't super nice and forthcoming. How dare they? If you come off as a confrontational dick in your own retelling of the story, then your approach is probably flawed. You don't even have to be super friendly, but just factual and composed in my experience. In my experience, saying I know this isn't your fault, but this happened, and you seem like somebody who can help me works pretty darn good. That's a very reasonable way of going about it. From someone who's worked customer service, this is an awesome opening if you need to call and get service over the phone. I 100% second this. I had to call support because I lost an entire library of games. It was kind of a lot of money's worth. I was a little upset. Obviously, I had no idea what happened, but it definitely had nothing to do with the customer service rep I reached. I explained my issue. It took a while to sort out, but we got there. At the end of the call, the rep credited my account with a pretty decent chunk of money, $15, which seems like a lot for the circumstance. Her specific words were, "Thank you for being so calm and understanding. This was a very pleasant interaction. I was completely floored. How often do they deal with assholes that I got rewarded so sizably, just for treating them like a human?" That just reinforced to me to always be polite and kind to others. And not because you may get a bonus from it. It was definitely nice. But there's no way being a decent human should be so seemingly rare that it warrants that kind of reaction. I say this as someone who works retail/customer service. I know not to expect decency, but that's usually the default in my experience. I can only imagine that it's easier to treat someone like shit over the phone rather than face to face, I guess. Oh, it's immensely worse over the phone because people forget it's actually a person on the other end of the line. I worked call centers for a few years, and acknowledging that I was human and basic manners instead of screaming makes them much more likely to help instead of doing the bare minimum to get you off the line. I say please and thank you in the drive-thru, and people are sometimes genuinely shocked. I do it everywhere. I literally almost get whatever I want dealing with customer service because I treat them with the respect any human being wants to be treated with. I say please and thank you and tell them not to worry or apologize for taking the time necessary to do their job. It blows my mind that this isn't just a common sense thing. Whether on the phone, through a drive-thru, or in person, I immediately convey to them they can relax. I see them as a person. I don't have any issues with them, or will I cause them one. You can literally feel their relief through the phone, and they immediately want to help you just see they can tell you respect them. It's crazy. Next time you call customer service, right off the bat, when they introduce themselves and ask who you are and what your issue is, just pause and genuinely ask them how they are doing. It usually takes them a minute to realize they were just treated like a person and you are not gonna be an impatient entitled jerk. It's not such a difficult concept, it's called putting yourself in someone else's shoes. For real. I have never had a problem with customer service that couldn't be solved by being polite. I've always lived by, don't treat me like shit and expect me to treat you awesome. I've always wondered what people expect to happen when they're rude to people in customer service. I couldn't do what you wanted, but now that you have yelled at me and called me names, I have changed my mind and will do everything you ask. In the meantime, these people are also the exact same people who complain to a manager if they feel that a customer service person was even the tiniest bit impolite to them. My sister works retail and was once called a cunt when an insane customer felt slighted that she didn't do something that she had no idea he expected. B was far beyond her job responsibilities, and C would have been an immense favor for an absolute asshole of a customer. Imagine something like calling a grocery store cashier a cunt because she didn't call you at home in her off hours to tell you that your favorite cereal went on sale. He then went on a tirade about how he would never shop at the store again and would tell all his friends not to as well. The thing is, they were thrilled that he wasn't going to come back and had little concern about his friends taking his advice. The incident was reported to ours and they were to call the police if he ever came back. He actually is still rude years later to the store employees if he sees them out and about. It's a small town and he has to drive an hour to get to the closest store that sells what they sell. This applies to every aspect of life, not just retail. Was going to say the same thing. People respond much more openly to kindness. I was polite and honest to the cop that pulled me over doing 90. He wrote the ticket for 80 instead. I actually appreciate the small favor. Edit, that's miles per hour. The limit was 70. Good for you. Absolutely. As a cook in a deli/caf, I really don't care much about the company I work for. I'll give people a generous sized serving if they are a normal amount of nice. There's always a few assholes every day who are the only people in the world in their mind. And you can bet they're getting smaller servings and it's getting put together messier. And I'm certainly not gonna put in effort to get it to them faster. I'll never understand people who piss off those handling their food. It's a bad idea. The most rarest managers are the ones who stick by their employees. When I became the manager of my department, I found my decisions regarding unreasonable returns etc. ended up overturned to only the most obnoxious of Karens. So what I did was an unofficial policy change in my little corner of the world. I told my staff we would just give people what they ask for, unless they were jerks. We made the jerks jump through all the hoops of following up, going to head office, etc. Meanwhile, if you'd asked nicely, we would have taken care of it by now. I like to think it encouraged the behavior we wanted to see, but I doubt it. It warms my heart to know someone's out there doing the Lord's work. I went to a fast food place last week. The drive-thru was packed, but I had kids in the car, so we just waited vs going inside. When it finally came to us, the guy was super apologetic and was naming off everything that was going wrong with his night. I just told him to relax and take his time and we would be all good. When we got to the window, he had extra cookies and shakes for my kiddos and told me how tough the night had been and how nice it was for someone to cut him some slack. It was a totally unnecessary gesture, but one I really appreciated. I used it as a moment to tell me kids that was why you should always try to be kind. We didn't have to know what all was going on in his world, but giving him some kindness improved his night, and even though he didn't need to, he returned the kindness with treats. This scenario always bums me out. I've sat in many a long drive-through line, and they're always bending over backwards to apologize. I mean, acknowledging the extra weight is good, I guess, but it makes you wonder what kind of abuse they are getting first. They shouldn't have to explain. Everyone in the drive-thru has eyes and can see the 8 cars in front of them. They still got in the line knowing it would be a wait. I used to work in a bank. So many people would come in at lunch, join the massive queue, and get pissy about the wait, which we had to apologize to each person for anyway under company policy. Like, do you not see all the people waiting before you? WTF you think is happening when you join that line? So true. Been working in customer service, hospitality, and food service my whole life. It never ceases to amaze me that people will be nasty from the first moment of interaction and somehow think I'm going to help them. Even when I was a manager. And I still can't believe that people think they can treat management like pieces of shit and get their way. One thing I loved about management was getting to say no to raging assholes. I enjoyed being able to ask people to stop doing dick-buggy things that affected the experience of others. I enjoyed being able to stand up to the worst customers, because you can tell that weaker managers were permissive, which leads to the douchy customer learning that bad behavior pays off. Not on my watch, Satan. As much as I love helping people, I also absolutely loved saying no to rude people. I love when people say to treat everyone the same, as if we are giving subpar service of the bat, mostly when tips come into play, like, no, everyone is treated equally, you get the same service. If you're nice, I will go above and beyond for you to make sure your kindness is paid off and you have a good time. If you're a dick, no, you can't have extra sauce without paying. No, my manager won't give it to you either. Can confirm. Spent 8 years working in retail at Foot Locker and the Sports Authority. Anybody who was an asshole to me got nothing from me. I find it difficult to not be nice to retail workers unless they are nasty. They deal with a never-ending stream of bullshit and don't even make the rules. I think the people who take an immediate domineering approach to interactions with retail workers are the ones who lack the most power and control in their own lives, i.e. losers. So, to compensate, they go on power trips with people who are, by default, handicapped in the interaction and cannot fight back with the same intensity without losing their job. How dominant of them. That's true. I've never been rude to retail workers, even when they may be rude, because I know it's probably a customer that pissed them off. I like to be the one that makes their day better. As a manager myself, if you have a problem and are rude, I will take care of the problem. If it was our mistake, I will not do anything. If it was your mistake, if you are kind and cool, I will not only take care of the problem, but then some. If it was your mistake, I will still fix it. Same. I've bent rules left and right for kind and sweet customers. Assholes on the other hand. My general manager taught me a simple trick. Say nope, I'm sorry, and just walk right away. I once had a customer's husband come in yelling at me because I accused his wife of stealing. I'm a preacher and I shop here all the time. What had happened was this woman had picked up product and sat everything down out of its place. She then took down a sale sign and demanded it be taken off. However, this was a special label product and the hook it belonged to showed that. Therefore no discounts to be applied. What I told her was, if she had left the sign I would have been able to see it was in the wrong spot and help her out. But alas, when I got there she was rude, so I absolutely refused. The husband came in telling me he was gonna call corporate because of what I had done and that I'm required by law to give the price to the woman. And when I say telling I mean yelling and making a big scene. I simply said no sir, I do not have to give it to you at that price and walked away. Fast forward 10 minutes, I go up front to help reduce lines and run register. Woman comes through, says, oh my, you're the guy that man was screaming at. You handled that so well and calm, he was such an asshole. I work at a Whole Foods and it is expected that we show customers to their desired product whether or not they are nice to us. If we don't carry, we are expected to show them the best alternative. If you are nice to us, we will definitely show you the next best alternative. If not, we will just tell you we don't carry the product and apologize. It's the nuance that changes us. Used to be, if you were nice, We take you to the alternative and give it to you for free. But you stop doing wowing the customer, where team members were basically given X $ per week to give away at their discretion. Then the It's On Us program, where they gave your department a few stickers a week. This all happened in the few years before Amazon bought them. No idea what it's like now, because I've been in a nice office job for the last 5-ish years. The closest thing to giving away stuff for free now is sampling. When I started, 3 years ago, the It's On Us program was running through its last few stickers. I honestly prefer not having all that free shit business going on. Too many customers tried to take advantage of me in my early days by coming up with some bullshit why I should give them a sticker. Amazon might be making the company unrecognizable to what it was, but this was a good choice. Too much entitlement walks through our doors to get free shit. And also, don't being a fucking taint to people who work somewhere and don't make the policies. LPT, don't be an asshole or a bitch. I work at a famous theme park and a lot of us do the bare minimum for assholes, but go above and beyond for anyone who's nice to us. Former retail worker here. I can't tell you how many times I was more than willing to go the extra mile for someone that was nice than someone that was rude. Yeah, I work in retail, and whenever someone rude comes up to me with an attitude complaining about how we do our job or the sorts, and asks me if I have something in the back because it's not on the shelf, I almost always go in the back, sit there for a little bit just to waste their time, then walk back out just to say we don't have it, even though we do. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.